One of the common concern among people is that, Sagar, I have nothing to share with my audience. So in order to come across as an expert, as an authority in your marketplace, that is something that I would definitely recommend. If you want to come across as an expert, as an authority in your marketplace, you got to talk about things that resonates with your audience. So what I would highly recommend is buy at least 20 to 30 books in your niche, in your industry. Study them, and then I will teach you a technique that will help you to come up with the content that you're going to share with your audience so that they see you in the expert light. So I have at least, I think, 20 books over here. I'll tell you one by one what I have read and how it helps me to build more confidence and come up with the content. First book is Painless Presentations. The next one is Winning the Room. Next one is The Elements of Humor. Next one is Public Speaking in a Week. The next one is The Humor Habit. Next one is Do It Speaking. Next one is by Joe Navarro, What Everybody is Saying. Next one is Strategic Storytelling. Next one is How to Write Funny. Next one is Charisma on Command. Next one is How to Talk Funny. The next one is Never Split the Difference. The next one is Definitive Book of Body Language. The next one is The Comic Toolbox. Next one is Never Eat Alone. Next one is The Art of Public Speaking by Dale Carnegie. Next one is 48 Laws of Power. Next one is Pitch Anything. The next book is Next Conversation by Jefferson Fisher. Next one is How to Talk to Anyone. Next one is Body Language. So these are the books I have personally read on public speaking, and there are a few more on my shelf. So why I'm showing you this is you don't learn public speaking just by reading books. Reading will solve your reading problem. Watching will solve your watching problem. Listening will solve your listening problem. And speaking to a group of people will solve your public speaking problem. But when you read these books, it gives you perspective. It gives you different ideas. It opens your mind in different direction. There are timeless, tested concepts in these books that I can pick and I can talk about. These are not copyright methods. They exist and they are available in public domain. So, Steal Like an Artist, it's a book by Austin Kleon. What it says that in order to create a piece of music, you don't come up with original. You take few things from here, few things from there, few things from there, and eventually you assemble it. If you think in your life everything is copied, so you learn alphabet that someone invented and you learn it step by step, and then now you can make your own words. Similarly, in music, you learn different chords someone else invented. When you learn singing, you sing someone else's song first and then you make your own song. It is called plagiarism if you take word by word, step by step, and you regurgitate other people's stuff. But if you take inspiration, if you understand, you explain in your own words, it's absolutely yours. People need to hear the same thing in very different ways so that it lands with them. The things that you want to tell people, it has been told already millions of times, and they've heard it from other people as well. What makes it different is your delivery. The words in the speech is only 7%. Rest 93% is your method. That's what people remember. How you make them feel and how impactful and powerful you make it for them. So now let's pick one book and then I will tell you how to come up with ideas so that you can create content so that you never run out of ideas to talk about and still come across as an expert, as an authority. Now let's head to ChatGPT and let's explore with ChatGPT what we can learn from this book and how we can incorporate those stories in our talks. So that is the right way of doing it. The lazy way is just tell ChatGPT, hey, write me a speech, and then it makes a robotic kind of speech. But there is a better way. Let's find out. Hey, ChatGPT.
Hey there, I'm right here. Let me know what else you need.
All right, I have a book here in my hand. It's called Do You Talk Funny by David Nihill. So I'm at the first chapter of this book. Can you explain me the core idea from this book? What is the core message that the writer has written in this book? And also, I'm really interested in the stories and key takeaways. The language that I like is really, really simple. And make sure you cover all the anecdotes for me that I need to hear, and that cements the idea. So use the language that is used by sixth grade kids. Make it really simple, no fancy words, no fancy jargons.
Absolutely. So, Do You Talk Funny by David Nihill is basically a book about how to use humor in public speaking and everyday communication. The big idea is that anyone can learn to be a bit funnier, and that humor is a powerful tool to connect with people and get your message across. In the first chapter, the author basically says, hey, you don't have to be a natural born comedian. He shares a few simple stories about how even people who think they're not funny at all can learn a couple of tricks to add humor to their talks. One anecdote is about how David himself was terrified of public speaking, so he decided to fake being a comedian for a year to get over his fear. He learned that humor is really just about telling simple, relatable stories and not about being the funniest person in the room. So, in super simple language, the book is saying you can learn to use humor even if you think you can't. It's all about practicing little funny stories and using them to help people feel more comfortable.
Can you give me an example, the anecdote from this chapter?
Absolutely. So, one of the anecdotes David shares is about how he was really scared of public speaking. Instead of jumping into it, he decided to pretend he was a stand up comedian for a whole year. Basically, he kind of tricked himself into learning to be funny by actually doing comedy gigs and open mics. He tells the story in a very simple way. At first, he was super nervous and not very funny at all. But over time, he realized that just telling little stories from his own life, like funny things that happened to him or awkward moments, made people laugh and helped him feel more comfortable. The big takeaway is that you don't need to be born funny. Just share relatable stories and humor will naturally come out. It's all about practice and being yourself.
Awesome. So you get an idea that you can leverage ChatGPT to come up with ideas and concept, and you can discuss, and step by step you will understand the essence of the book. You will not become great public speaker just by reading and talking to ChatGPT. This is more to get inspired, to understand concepts, to learn about things so that you can talk about things and you're seen in the expert light. And why books? Because somebody has put in his life's work in this book, in this little book. These are very profound lessons. So, like that, you have 20 books or 30 books to get inspired from. And then, if you explain those concepts in your words and you tell your own story, that puts you in the expert light. That is how you come up with the content. However, in order to become a great speaker, you need to speak, not watch, not listen, not read. But this certainly solves your problem. What should I talk about? I have nothing to talk about. Invest in some books, open up your mind, and then you will know lots of concepts to talk about in your industry. And finally, you can zone in on one area and you can come across as an expert. What most people do is they talk about random stuff, and that is not quite good. So, if you're building your personal brand, then talk about the things that your audience care about, that you're expert in. And eventually, that's how you'll have more credibility and it will be of value to your audience. That's it. That's how you can come up with more content to talk about.